So go straight into our community. What we are doing today is that we are focusing on Ketu South, where our correspondent in the Volta region, Desmond Agor, tells us the story of how the tidal waves is still causing distraction and residents that are appealing for a sea defense project. So viewers, let's take a look at this report. We'll be back to tell you more about the situation in Ketu South in the Volta region. Charlie, the camera left.
They said they're going.
In Agaveji, Amutunu, and Salakope, located in the Ketu South municipality of that region. Now, the latest waves have worsened the plight of affected residents, bringing additional health, social, and economic challenges. ChannelOne News' Volta regional correspondent Desmond Selasiago has more.
For decades, residents of Agaveji, Amutinu, and Salakope have endured the devastating impact of tidal waves, which have destroyed homes, livelihoods, primarily fishing and essential infrastructure. In recent years, the destruction has extended to cemeteries, shrines, and other vital facilities, posing significant health hazards. Some basic schools are now just meters away from the encroaching sea. Access to clean water has already been cut off, while electricity poles, cables, and portions of the main Denu-Haveji road are under increasing threat from the Atlantic Ocean. While some residents have relocated to other fishing communities within and beyond Ghana, thousands remain hoping for a lasting government intervention. Salakope's chief fisherman, Toby Emmanuel Anumutete, described the situation as deeply alarming.
The sea is destroying all our houses. Secondly, due to the destroyal of the houses, we have the debris in the sea. The broken houses are in the sea. That could not enable us to go to sea anymore. We can't fish anymore. Because as soon as you send your net there, it will be entangled by the debris. It will tear in pieces. You have to go and borrow money to amend it. It continues day in and day out. In the evening, you will see a lot of us sleeping along the street there. And some of us are sleeping in the church over there.
Right.
That's just the shade.
Right.
Because we don't have any place to sleep. You see? And the death toll in the community now is increasing very, very well. Because of starvation, the death toll in this community is increasing day in and day out.
In an effort to find a lasting solution, officials from the Environmental Protection Agency, led by Acting Chief Executive Officer, paid a working visit to the affected communities to express solidarity with the residents. As part of the visit, the EPA CEO donated essential food supplies including rice, cooking oil, and canned tomatoes to support victims. During a press briefing with government officials, Agaveji's Assembly member, Ebenezer Asa, emphasized the need for sea dredging and the completion of the long-stall sea defense project.
That the dredging is the best solution that will solve the situation now. As you can see, the major road, when care is not being taken and nothing is being done till the next month, the seawater will wash away the major road. And as you can see too, the high tension too will be washed away by the sea. We have the pipeline along the road. So when you can count the distance between the seawater and then the major road, is something very small. You can count about 30 feet of your foot, which is very bad. So what we are calling for as the people of Agaveji and then the other community as well, we are calling for the continuation of the sea defense work, which is the dredging. That's the only thing that we are calling for, because we can proud of Benin today. We can be proud of Togo today, because they see that that's the only solution that can resolve the problem of the tidal wave.
Professor Kluche reassured residents of the EPA's commitment to working closely with the government and other stakeholders to implement a permanent solution.
What we think we have to do is provide a lasting solution by providing a more sustainable sea defense for the communities. We need to reclaim the land and provide the defense for the sea so that we can get back the land and get back the livelihood of the people. this depends on the resources that we are going to get. So immediately we're calling on our development partners, we're calling on government, and EPA will make sure we coordinate it, and as early as possible, as a matter of urgency, we come back here to do the dredging and then making sure that we do the defense as soon as possible. We're going to work at it. Yeah.
Volta Regional Minister James Gunu described the recent waves as highly destructive and called on the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Ghana Water Company Limited to urgently assess and secure their infrastructure in the affected areas.
Agaveji, Asalakope, and Amutinu people have suffered for far too long, and we want to use this opportunity to appeal to our development partners to come in quickly to save the situation, because even electricity is affected, so if these poles are cut off now, then will be affected. They will not have electricity. Ketu side here, they will not have electricity. So the Electricity Company of Ghana must also come in to do the assessment. Community water and sanitation, there is a cut-off. They don't have water. So the last time we brought sachet water to the community, it's not enough. They need shelter, temporary shelter. They need a psychologist. They need a medical care. So this is the time we need to show our love to the people of Agaveji, Salakope, and Amutinu.
Affected residents in Amutinu, Salakope are still waiting for the completion of the Ketu Defense Project to prevent the further loss of properties. Reporting for ChannelOne News, my name is Desmond Salasiago.
Yes, so you just saw for yourself really devastating scenes in the Ketu South constituency in the Volta region, where sea defense walls, some of which has not even been constructed at all, some of which still have completely broken down, leading to real struggle and devastation for residents in the communities around Salakope and the rest. Now, a truly troubling situation. Year in, year out, we hear stories about how tidal waves is affecting people. I remember, I think 2 or 3 years ago, residents in some towns had to flee completely and were sent to a different site for resettlement. So it's really troubling that every year you have to come back to this same situation. I quite recall the former Works and Housing Minister, Asenso Boache. He made some assurances at the time that government had earmarked some funds to be used in the construction of the sea defense. And we never saw the light of day. And now we have a new administration. So it's a lot going on. But we've been joined on the phone lines, or we've been joined by Zoom. Our correspondent in the Volta region, Desmond Ago. Desmond, good morning and welcome to Sunday Breakfast.
Good morning, Chief.
Amazing. How are you doing? I hope you are great.
Yes, please, I'm fine. How about you? And then
I'm very well.
Now doesn't need to even, as you can see, she's keeping well. Except that for residents in the Volta region, they are not fine. And I'm sure you can tell us more and why.
Yes, Jude, that's very fine or true. Residents in Salakope, Amutinu, parts of Agaveji, Blekusu, Adina are not okay. Yes, as you stated, they are not okay. The reason is the annual tidal waves has once again hit them or affected them. And this time we've seen graves, cemeteries, buildings, fishing canoes, fishing nets, livelihoods all been lost again in this tidal waves effect. You recall that in 2015, 2016, the previous NDC government started the phase 2 of the Ketu Defense Project, but after the election where they lost, the NPP took over, and we saw the project stalling for a very long time. Since 2016 to now, we've not seen any work ongoing. Although we've had several promises from the previous government, the previous NPP government, assuring the residents or the affected people of the continuation of the Keta Sea Defense Project, the phase 2. But so now, we've not seen anything. We've received several numerous promises for the completion of the sea defense project, but for now, nothing seems to be going on.
Yeah.
And in the recent tidal wave effects, we've seen graves even getting affected. The last time I went there, people were assuming their loved ones from the graves, the affected graves, to be buried at another place. So the situation is very, very devastating now. Residents are still calling for the completion of the sea defense. And mind you, the residents say the reason or why they feel they are being affected daily or at least every week they are being affected is as a result of the non-completion of the sea defense project. It ended somewhere around Agaveji, and just after Agaveji is Amutinu, Salakope, Adina, and some other communities there. So you can see that those around the Agaveji are not really being affected. So the immediate effect is felt by those at Amutinu, Salakope, Adina, just because they are after the sea defense, which was stored some years ago. So residents are still calling on authorities, especially the new government, to come to their aid again. We've seen the EPA going there some days ago, and also assuring them that they will be working together with the government to ensure that the sea defense is completed. Also, we've received some assurances from the Volta Regional Minister, James Benu, who also visited the affected areas recently, telling them government is ready to help them, so to ensure that they are not affected again. But mind you, 2 or 3 years ago, these residents were advised to move to higher ground, and some 106 or 105 buildings were earmarked to be constructed for these affected residents. But as I'm talking to you now, some have been built, some are at the lintel level. I can count about 20, from 11 to 20 are around the lintel level, but only 6 have been roofed. And this roof too is not a completed project, or it's not a completed building. You can still see that there are some touches which need to be done to these 6 buildings to ensure that residents or affected residents move into this building. So residents are still calling that, or are still saying, since they have been moved to, they've been asked to move to higher grounds, the completion of this 100 and over 100 buildings should be completed in no time for them to be able to move to the higher grounds. But they wouldn't want to move away from the community, as their livelihoods depend on the sea. They are fisher folks. They get their daily incomes from fishing and selling of fish at the seaside. So it's going to be something difficult for them moving away from the community or moving away from the seashore. So they are just appealing again that either the housing project or the sea defense is constructed for them. Also, the head of the fishermen at the Agaveji, Salakope, and Mutino Enclave also told me how they've lost most of their fishing nets because buildings are still in the sea. Because in previous time you can count or you can walk for about 3 kilometers and you not meet the sea, but now it's just some few 50, even less than 50 meters away from the main Agaveji Keta route, and buildings are in the sea. So when they cast their nets into the sea, the nets are trapped under, and they have to also repair, which is another economic crisis for them, as they don't really have enough. So they are still just calling for the completion of the sea defense to ensure that the Agaveji seas do not destroy their properties again.
Interesting. That's one. You are a journalist. I know you are not a politician and you don't work for any of the governments, but we know in 2021, during the budget reading, some 10 million Ghana cedis was allocated at a time by the finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, for the construction of the sea defense project in Keta specifically. Do you know what happened to that project and whether or not it began at all?
All right, so Jude, I can say emphatically that that has not been done. Just last year or two, the voter NP caucus, led by Honorable Emmanuel Beja, visited Keta specifically on this same issue. And they were also lamenting on the fact that the West African Coastal Aid Fund kind of is supposed to be activated to ensure that these areas along the coast in Keta, Anyanui, Angologa, all the way to the Ketu South enclaves are also benefit from this West African coastal aid. But for now, they still don't know why these aids are not being activated, despite the numerous promises by government, and also, as you stated, the budget where government allocated some 10 million for the construction or the completion of the sea defense.
Wow, amazing. Desmond, let me also find out from you. So, with the current level of distraction, how are residents in Keta and the surrounding communities holding up? How are they dealing with this current situation?
All right, Jude. So for those in Keta, tourist sites have been affected. Tourist centers, let me say, also hotels or hospitality facilities are also being affected. That is for Keta. And when you come to the Ketu South, where we have the Amutinu Salakope, those are affected mainly. It's affecting mainly the households, the fisher folks, and also yes, the fisher folks. Just because their buildings are being destroyed when they cast nets into the sea, the nets are trapped underwater, and a whole lot. Jude, when you get there yourself, you feel for them to the extent that even graves are not spared. It's very devastating. These people, most often they tell me they are also Ghanaian. They vote, they contribute to the economic growth of the country, but they don't understand why they are being left to their fate at these crucial times, and they have nowhere to go, Jude. They have nowhere basically to go, and some have been there all their lives. So leaving these areas to go elsewhere to start life is very it's going to be very difficult for them. So they just want the solution where the sea defense will be constructed, the housing project to be completed, and the like. So they are just calling for the completion of the sea defense to ensure that their lives are protected.
So we've been joined by Gideon Tete, who's a unit committee chairman for the Salakope area in the Ketu South District. But just before we engage him, Desmond, I want you to tell us, we saw some government officials, including the regional minister, James Gunu, come to the area to ascertain. You also mentioned that the chair of all the voter caucus led by Whole West MP, I believe, Honorable Emmanuel Beja, came to ascertain. Have you seen the Works and Housing Minister also come? Not yet.
Not yet. But the previous minister, former minister for Works and Housing, Honorable Asenso yes, Honorable Asenso Bachi was there some months ago, but we still haven't seen anything coming out of it.
Interesting. And we also saw the current EPA boss visit the area together with the regional minister. When these authorities came there, what did they say? What assurances did they give?
Well, so for the EPA, they are mainly concerned with the destruction of the cemeteries, the graves, as it's an environmental issue.
Yeah.
Yes. So they are also saying they are going to liaise with government to ensure that the sea defense is completed to prevent any outbreak of diseases in the area. So basically, they are also championing the completion of the sea defense project in these affected areas.
All right, Desmond. As this is going on, can you please tell us the level of distraction in all the neighborhoods? Is it that intense? Are they, moving out of their homes? Or, it's quite, is either partly they're still in there, but although they are affected?
Okay, so I can tell you on the fact that some are now sleeping at the roadside, others are sleeping in churches, whilst others are also sleeping in the uncompleted housing projects started for them. The intent of the destruction, I can't quantify. It's enormous. I can't really say how much has been lost, but it's tens of thousands, hundreds of millions, if I should say, that have been lost since the inception of these instructions along the coast of Ketu
Interesting.
South and the Keta municipality, Angolo, and the likes. It's very sad.
And we know that right now, the distraction has led to like the cemetery being exposed, causing, a significant environmental challenge in the area. Correct?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
That's true.
That's one still hanging there. We'll come back to you, but we've been joined by Gideon Tete, who is a unit committee chairman in the Salakope electoral area in the Ketu South district. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Sunday Breakfast.
Good morning, my honorable.
I trust you are doing well, sir.
Yes, somehow doing well.
We can understand due to the circumstances in your community. Sure. Our correspondent, Desmond Ago, who I'm sure you know, has found quite a number of stories. And we're saying on the show that this is not the first time issues around sea defense projects and governments and successive governments' inability to complete this project have come to the notice. What, in your estimation, is the level of distraction? Just to repeat a question by my colleague, now you quote it. What's the level of distraction in the area now, and what else can you report, or what else can you tell us?
Thank you very much, and greetings to all your viewers. The level of distraction in our community now is very high. And every day in, day out, the sea is still destroying our house. As it stands now,
unfortunately, it seems we lost Gideon Tete, who was a union member. But now it's interesting to know that it looks like we need different solutions to this problem, because there's this article by Professor Apinin Ado on myjournal.com, and he makes the argument that Professor Apinin Ado is the director of the Institute of Environmental and Sanitation Studies at the University of Ghana. And he sought to make the point that the completion of the Keta Sea Defense Project is not a lasting solution to the perennial destructive tidal waves. So I'll bring viewers excerpts of that. My point basically is that we need now to probably look at alternative ways, probably get academia involved, get a proper stakeholder on this. But Mr. Tete, good morning and welcome again. We lost you briefly. Yes.
Good morning.
Great. So I was saying, just give us an overview of the level of distraction and also tell us how residents in the area are holding up, how they are keeping up with regards to what we are the footage we've seen on the tidal wave situation.
Over here.
Day
in, day out, houses have been destroyed. We are losing about getting to 1,000 houses in our community now. And so many people who build up their houses alongside, because their houses are lost, they have to stay in the churches, they have to sleep along the roadside, they have to sleep with their colleagues, and some people, as we speak now, don't have place to sleep, which is causing much problems us in the community. And as it stands now, we have some of our cemeteries around us. The cemeteries that we have are taken by the sea. Most of the cemeteries, which they don't quickly pick the death out from them by breaking their graves, has been taken by the death has been taken by the sea, which is causing more destruction into our environment. Now, when we look at where we are, our high tension that we have is now inside the sea, or very, very close to the sea. That does not have any distance away from the sea. The high tension that connects from Aflau down to Keta to Amazon is over there. So it is causing that much damage to the high tension. That when they come to remove it, there will be no life again.
Mr. Gideon Tete, I get a sense, and our colleague has also given us, quite a picture of the situation there. But we've seen some government officials already moving, give assurances. There's this article here saying that the completion of the Ketu Sea Defense Project is not necessarily the lasting solution needed to address this perennial problem we see year on year. In your estimation, what are you expecting government to do, and how do you see this project, being addressed once and for all? Is it a funding problem, or how do you perceive it?
Okay, to me, I've seen it that the sea has to be drained. They have to be there must be a drainage in the sea. They have to make a hole inside the sea by taking the sand out from the sea to fill the land so that we can have land. If the dredging is done, to us over here, as the sea is, anytime the sea has gotten a hole inside, it sits down, it doesn't rise again. That is how the sea behaves. So if dredging should be taken so that they will take sand out from the sand, out from the sea to fill the land for us, the sea will not destroy our places again. The destruction of the sea will not come closer to us again. So if dredging is made properly, if properly dredging is made, and at the end of where they do the dredging is being blocked by stones, the water will never come closer to us again.
All right.
Dredging is the only thing that can save us over here.
Clearly, I mean, thank you for your thoughts. Clearly, your suggestions, I'm sure the government and experts, are listening, and the appropriate action needed to be taken to bring some reprieve and some lasting solution to this problem will be addressed. And thank you for your time. And so sorry about the challenges your people and yourself have to deal with in the Ketu South area. Now, clearly, very, very unfortunate.
Very, very. I want to say thank you to Desmond as well for actually bringing us the situation on ground. It's very devastating, and we hope that help comes to them immediately, especially those who would have to go and sleep at the roadside, security-wise and everything. Losing your home in this situation is very devastating, and then we hope that help comes to them. Thank you very much, Desmond.
Now, just a minute, right? I think it's just important we bring viewers excerpts of the story, because this professor argues that the creation, right, of building sea defense project is not a solution, and that it transfers the problem to another place. So just brief excerpt. The director of the Institute of Environmental and Sanitation Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Kwesi Appiah-Ado, has called for a holistic approach in the solving of the perennial destruction caused by tidal waves in the Volta region. He stated that the completion of the Ketu Sea Defense Project will not be a lasting solution to the problem. He said, Professor Appiah-Ado, who has been researching coastal erosion for over a decade, said the sea defense wall will only transfer the problem to another area. And he goes on and on and on, talking about the half engineering approach and what should be done. The problem is that we need comprehensive, get the stakeholders on board. We have the engineers, we have academia, we have researchers.
Just merge,
put them together and let's find a lasting solution.
All right, so we'll take a break, and when we're back, we'll get on to more interesting stories. You're still on Sunday Breakfast. My name is Noyo Korte, and we're hanging out with Jude Duncan. We'll be right back.